I love Tina Turner. And I love Michael Adams, but I really love Kate Kendall. Kate Kendall is an amazing leader in person. I didn't know she was gonna be here. My heart's like beating and fluttering in the presence of Kate. So good evening. Thank you, Michael, for that introduction. SAGE's mission to help LGBTQ elders is something that touches my heart. I think it is so special, and I know that under your leadership, SAGE is helping more people than ever. Thank you for having me tonight, and thank you for the work that you put in every day for a community that I am so proud to be part of. It is an honor to be here tonight. It's an honor to receive this award from SAGE, and it is an honor that this award is in the name of Ken Dawson, who was advocating for LGBTQ rights at a time when few people were. Although I never met Ken, my life and my career would not have been possible without the work of people like him, the pioneers of LGBT activism. I think about those pioneers, the generation that came before me, a lot. I came out in April of 1999. I was 16 years old in a small town in Massachusetts, despondent, depressed, and suicidal. 6 months earlier, Matthew Shepard had been murdered in Wyoming, and the country was grieving. I didn't know of anyone else who was openly gay, and I felt completely and totally alone. Somehow, I don't know how, I mustered up the courage to tell my family. And I was lucky. They were immediately, unconditionally loving. Soon after, about a month later, I came out at school. I told my football team. I had just been elected captain of the team 6 months earlier. And again, I got lucky. My team and my schoolmates accepted me. I was the only openly gay student out of 1,500 kids in my high school. I got involved in another amazing organization, which many of you know, GLSEN, a wonderful network. And I got this local award at Tufts University at that time. And the local LGBT newspaper in Boston called Bay Windows wrote a little cute story about me receiving that award at Tufts. And 2 days later, my home phone rang, and my mom picked up, and it was a reporter from a publication in New York who said, I heard about your son, I read that story, and I would love to come up and interview him. And he said, my name is Robert Lipsyte, and I'm a reporter at the New York Times. And my mom said, what's the New York Times? I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I had never been outside of New England. I had never been on an airplane before. I grew up in 1 in 12 units of public housing in the town that I grew up in. The story that he wrote was titled Icon Recast, the story of a gay athlete. It ended up on the front page of the Sunday New York Times with a photo of me in my football uniform 2 days after my 18th birthday. The reason why we didn't know about the New York Times is because we were strictly Salem Evening News readers back in the day. The whole experience, that one moment of me coming out, opened up so many doors for me. I was totally accepted by my friends and family, and I felt like an anvil had been lifted off of my shoulders. I was 16 years old, and I felt like the luckiest person in the world. But now I realize that it was more than just luck. It was more than just luck. I came out into a world that men like Ken Dawson helped create. Ken once rescued a stranger drowning in the Hudson River. It was a big deal, and the press understandably was interested. Who was this brave guy that rescued someone drowning in the Hudson River? Ken was open about his work at SAGE and what SAGE did, helping LGBT people lead better lives. To me, that's pretty heroic as well. But that's not, sadly, how the newspaper saw it. No one printed that the hero from the Hudson River Rescue had a job helping gay elders. And I think we all know why. It was 1987. It was at the height of the AIDS crisis. People like Jesse Helms were blaming us for the plague that was killing our community. Ronald Reagan would not say the word AIDS for 5 years. And a lot of America agreed with them. Gay people weren't heroes. It was a different world. It's hard to believe that now. We have marriage equality. We have gay superstars like George Takei. We have gay Fortune 500 CEOs. I go to a lot of weddings. I officiate weddings if anyone needs to get married. And some little old ladies are always like, "You have to meet my nephew. You two would be so adorable together." The bubbies say that to me. I'm still single. Change like this does not happen quickly. Change like this does not happen quickly. People like Ken Dawson made it happen. People like Paula Edelbrick. She changed the way we think about what it means to make a family. Many of you here in this room, some of you I know, some of you I don't, you made it happen. You came out during a time when you could lose your job, when it was a crime to love your partner, when the Stonewall Inn was just another bar on Christopher Street, when a plague was killing people like you and your friends and your lovers, and no one seemed to care. But you did. You came out. And every day that you went about your life, a proud friend of Dorothy, with your head held high, showing the world exactly who you are and who you love. Every day was an act of bravery that made the life I have today possible. I am openly gay. I am an openly HIV positive man who is Speaker of the New York City Council. I am totally accepted in my role. No one really bats an eye. And I know that I am here because of the work that came before me. It's not just my job. I mean my actual life. I am alive, standing here, accepting an award in the name of a courageous and brave man who I never got to meet because he died at 45 years old of AIDS. I am alive because of activism. Activists who put their bodies and lives on the line so that people like me could have access to life-saving drugs. I think about those activists every single day. I seroconverted when I was 22 years old in 2004, in October of 2004, and 2 weeks later, I lost my health insurance, and I didn't know where to turn. So to all those warriors, those of you here in this room, not here, dead or alive, your work was waiting for me when I needed it. I didn't have to scream at people about a plague that no one was paying attention to. I didn't have to stand in the harbor of Fire Island with a bucket begging for money to help my friends who were dying. I didn't have to chain myself to the balcony of the New York Stock Exchange right down the street. I didn't have to stage die-ins in government buildings. I didn't have to shut down the Food and Drug Administration. I didn't have to shut down St. Patrick's Cathedral. I didn't have to put a condom over Jesse Helms' house. I didn't have to help create the AIDS quilt. I didn't have to scatter the ashes of my friends on the White House lawn. I didn't have to do any of that. Larry Kramer did that. Peter Staley did that. People like Kate Kendall did that. Ann Northrup did that. Vito Russo did that. And Ken Dawson did that. People in this room, you did that for people like me. I am standing here today, and I want to say to everyone, I know what happened. I know what happened. And I know that I have an obligation to work every day to help others just like the people who helped me. I want to leave you all tonight by repeating an ACT UP slogan that has special meaning for me. ACT UP, stand tall, tomorrow morning at City Hall. Tomorrow morning I will be at City Hall, a proud HIV-positive gay man, healthy in body and in soul. I will be standing tall. I will act up for the rest of my life in service of the people who came before me. I want you to be angry because there is too much happening in this country, given everything those activists sacrificed and did to allow many of us to be here tonight. So I hope that each one of you will recommit yourselves in the spirit of Kate Kendall and George Takei and John Lake and Larry Kramer and Audre Lorde and Sylvia Rivera and Marsha P. Johnson and Bayard Rustin. I want you to recommit yourselves to get angry, to act up, to fight back, to work to save our democracy in these dark and trying times. It was done before us. It can be done again. It is all on us. Let's do it. Let's not fuck it up. Thank you.